Hello and welcome back to the Earthborne Games podcast. I'm your host, Anders Carlson. Joining me today is the staff of Earthborne Games, Evan Simonet.
Hey, Anders.
Did you get a new haircut or something?
I did, finally.
I love it.
I've been hiding under a hat. You love it? Is this kind of very standard?
It's really
standard haircut.
It just works.
Oh, thanks.
It's just slaying. And then we're also joined by Maxine Newman.
Hello, everyone.
Hair is always slaying.
Always on point.
And Andrew Fisher.
Hello.
Short-haired Andrew Fisher.
Fine.
Hair's good.
I was like, should I get it cut before vacation? But it's in that like middle stage where a haircut kind of feels like a waste. So, I'm just rolling with it.
I want to talk to you about that more. And then Andrew Navarro also has short hair.
Hi there. I got my hair cut this afternoon.
Oh, wow. Nice job.
I didn't do it
good.
myself. Thank
You got it cut.
you. Good job paying that barber to cut your hair.
Yeah.
Go to a barber, a traditional barber guy.
Yeah, I guess so. Fisher turned me on to this place. It's called Fella's Haberdashery in St. Paul.
Nice.
And they're great.
Yeah. They're chill.
I'll always know you two as long hair guys. Even when you have short hair, you're long hair guys to me. Know that
I'm always flirting with long hair,
Have you had just a regular haircut like this most of your life? Regular short hair?
If you count like being a child, or only when I get to decide how my hair is styled. Like, where do we draw the line of demarcation?
Since you've been able to had some agency.
I would say it's about 50-50.
Yeah,
long hair to short.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since I've known you, so like 16 years, I think it's about 50-50 was going to be what I said. Like, I feel like you kind of went through phases, and I guess it depends on what you define as long, because there was like a long period. There was quite a long period where it was kind of like this long, right?
Yeah. I count that as long. It was pretty long.
Yeah,
it was a long period of short hair and a short period of long hair.
Put it in the notes, Evan. Okay.
It's too long.
But I feel like all of this talk of hair, and I feel like Maxine definitely has the best hair of all of us. I feel like, with all of your,
you try.
You've got like the color coordination and everything where, your hair will like match your aesthetic and everything. Yeah, like.
Well, I spend a boatload of money on it, so I hope that it's good.
I think it's an entirely good hair crew. It's a crew of good hair.
I agree. Yeah.
And that's why the people keep tuning in to the YouTube channel.
That's right.
I don't get that with the podcast. What else was I going to say about haircuts? When I was a child, I went to my dad brought me to a woman's salon for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always this woman named Wendy, and that I could tell that I was the only male haircut she did throughout the month. Because it was terrible. I had the worst haircuts as a kid. I remember she would say, "And do you want sideburns?" As like a 7-year-old, and she would leave some length here. So my hair was like,
what?
Just descending, not actual sideburns, just descending down like a long strand of
long hair.
Yes,
just long strands of hair.
And then my dad told her to leave length in the back too, so it's mullet time.
Like a mullet
city. Yeah, mullet with a weird sideburn.
Nice.
Which is
sounds like your dad's more to blame than the stylist.
That's true. That's true. Are you gonna say
I got a buzz cut for most of my life. Just I don't know why. Because I wasn't creative enough.
I
didn't feel like expressing myself through a hairstyle. Even though I was a huge fan of what's his name from Sequest DSV. Brandis? Jonathan Brandis. I loved his hair back then.
What was it like?
But now I feel like I've squandered my youth just getting buzz cuts.
Well, Evan, I had just an aggressive bowl cut all through the 90s, so I don't know if
well, I did have a little bit of that too. Actually,
I came out any better.
Did they use a bowl?
No. I actually got brought to a salon as well. But then she gave me a bowl cut. So
I've gotten a literal bowl cut from my mom, like a literal bowl on the head.
Oh wow,
yeah, it's not good.
See, my mom would she had the clippers. She'd buzz my hair, but one time she forgot to put the clippers on and went like zzz, right.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Right.
Like down to the scalp.
Right down the front or
Oh,
back. And then I just
gosh.
had to get my head shaved, and it was in junior high, so
Oof.
it wasn't a great time to have a look
Yikes.
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Yeah, peak ridicule years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Poor baby. Well, it's good to be back.
Made
with
you the man you are today.
Yeah.
Good that buzz cut.
We have a lot to get to today. And I'm sure there'll be lots of fun banter to be had throughout. We're gonna go back to that popular segment from last week. Got a lot of feedback about it. The design corner. But we have a brand new name for it to debut later.
Do we?
Yep.
Do we?
It was the brainchild of Andrew Navarro. So can't wait to debut that segment name. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 amazing questions, and then I haven't been able, because the last time I was on was a month ago, and we talked about our favorite things of the entire year. But there's been some like new things that I've really been into that I'm excited to talk about.
Ooh.
And then it's gonna be the end of the show. Okay.
Solid schedule. Like it.
But
And then when
first-
you're done listening, you'll go on to whatever you were doing. You'll continue to drive your car.
Should eat at some point.
Maybe go to bed eventually. You know.
comment down below what you're planning to do after this. We want to know. I genuinely would be interested in that. But first, what has been happening?
Straight into the show.
What's been happening, everybody?
Well, we had a very successful event at Con of the North local game convention. Our first epic multiplayer event, Incandescent Skies. It was awesome. We had, I think, 24 people signed up.
Yeah.
And they all showed up, which is, Fisher and Maxine, who have a lot of experience running events, say that is like unheard of.
Yeah.
For a free ticketed event, like I feel like often, you get some drop-offs, at a con.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we were prepared for like anywhere between 10 and 20 people showing up. But we got the full 24.
Yeah. Some
Which is
people
great.
came to the show just for the event, which was awesome. There's one table from a group from Wisconsin who'd never been to a convention before, came out just for the event.
I think they had the slickest setup of anybody too. They had all of their, custom playmats, and then they had all of the premium token dice, and they aligned them perfectly down the center, between their playmats. So it was just this meticulous play setup compared to the chaos we have when we're doing our play casts. I felt embarrassed.
Yeah, I know. I like that. I did that row of the dice the last time I played with my buddies, just along the top of the shared area mat.
Mhm.
So they inspired me. It's a fun thing to fiddle with as you're sitting there playing, letting other people take their turns, turning all the dice over to the proper symbol. So they're all in a nice, neat row.
It's like stacking your meeples when
Yeah.
you're not your turn.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Turning all my
Forming a
D20s
pyramid
to
with your
20
meeples.
face.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel it played out, Maxine, versus playtesting?
I think it played out really well. You never know what's going to happen when you scale up an event like this. When we play tested, I think the most we play tested with was maybe 13 or 14 people, including myself, because I usually had to play and run it at the same time. Or we had weird things like everyone's in groups of 2, but Fisher, who's alone, stuff like that. So when you expand that, when you double the number of players almost, you never know what's going to happen. I think it worked out really well. I think it played out almost identically in pacing to how it went during playtesting, which is fantastic.
I think it
Awesome.
ended up a little easy, and I kept kicking myself because Maxine proposed an on-the-fly tweak that I'm pretty sure would have like been great, and then I talked her out of it.
Nah, that's fine. Who knows how that would have went? I mean, it's a little on the easy side, especially if you have a bunch of groups that know what they're doing. But I think I prefer that to an event that just stomps everyone into the ground. It's people, like you said, people came all the way out here, and you'd hate to have them have a bad time.
Yeah. They definitely had a good time. It seemed like everyone there was really enjoying themselves, very enthusiastic all the way through. It was like maybe like a 3.5 hour event in total.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, everyone was still very lively, and it was great chatting with everyone and signing cards and boxes. It was a good time.
I think we got pretty good table interaction too. I was a little like the event, not to spoil too much, but the event has a bunch of points where tables can go and help another table in some way, or like have to coordinate with other tables. And we had a little bit of like people coming and trying to coordinate with us, and then us being kind of like, well, go talk to them, see what they think. But like, I think a lot of the benefits that you can give to other tables, you can also often just take for yourself. And almost everybody gave them away. They were just constantly throwing them between each other, and I was really pleased with that. And like, honestly, I think in future event designs, we could even lean into it a bit more. I think there was room to have tables talking with each other even more than they were, because people really got into that.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it's a testament to the vibe of Rangers that everyone was so willing to just help each other out instead of just take all the benefits for themselves. It was great. There was a lot of strategizing, and there were at least a couple of tables that like kind of took a more of a leadership role and like went around and was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and everyone was like, yeah, I like that. It was very good overall.
Yeah, but we learned some stuff. I think like one, that we can really fill this event. So like, I mean, Con of the North is not a big convention at all. So I think we'll definitely, if we can, assuming we can find the space and get it all worked out at PAX, we'll definitely have it there. Maybe 2, we'll see. I feel like an event that's like a convention that size, I think we could definitely bring in plenty of people. So
yeah, getting table space for just a one-off event like this,
that's the question. Yeah, that's why I put it. There's a big asterisk on it. Like, just assuming we could actually have the space to do it. They do have places available. They're not the easiest to find. The way that convention center is laid out, that's the only downside, I think, of those rooms that we'd essentially be able to get, I think, to do this. But assuming we could we could maybe make it into a game, just to even find the room.
Your first travel phase,
right?
Through the convention center.
That's right. Follow these to like hide little symbols so that people can find them.
If you're in Reading Terminal Market, you've gone too far.
Right. Hide ranger caches.
Yeah.
Throughout
Oh, that's a good
idea.
It would be really interesting, I think, and great to see what this event looks like completely filled out with a full group of 40.
Yeah.
Get that one ranger patrol that's just stuck in the swamp. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, this one they didn't even have to go to the swamp, right? Because of the way it scales.
Nope.
So
yeah,
that'd be interesting to see how things work out down there.
Yeah,
how challenging that would be.
Rough.
Yeah,
but I think,
like we said, there's a lot. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, sorry, Maxine. I was just gonna say we had a couple of tables that were very experienced, so I think we did a little bit of this there already, but we kind of hinted at people like, hey, here's some good spots we might recommend the stronger groups start to help you out a little bit. And if we had the full 10 groups and people had to go into the swamp, I think I would definitely be like, advanced tables only, please.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it becomes like an easy target for all of those teamwork effects where you can help each other out. It's like, well, let's get that swamp group, let's help them out.
They fell off the Green Bridge. It's been rough down there.
Oh gosh.
Is there a world where players that do this sort of thing can gain like a special entry into notable things that like, somehow pops up in future campaigns.
Like a
cool.
Hall of Honor or something.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I just just thought of it right now. How it would be cool, but it wouldn't be relevant to like 99% of the players to see an entry that has nothing to do with.
How do we get that entry?
Evan, you could illustrate every participant in Ranger gear.
That would be cool.
Oh god.
Easy.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
I was going to say players did get to come away from the event with something cool though. I don't know how much we want to reveal, but
you get cards.
You get special cards.
Specific cards that have to do with what you did in the event.
Yes, they're not just random promo cards. They are the in Rangers you'll often do a mission and get a reward card. It is that formula.
Cool.
Well, while it might be procedurally difficult to give out a notable event, in the final expansion we could just have one entry that like checks if you've got one of these event reward cards in play and that something happens or something.
That's kind of cool.
It'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Well,
that is what we should. One more thing, Honors, before we move on. Sorry.
Okay.
That is one thing we could totally do as like in a since we're tweaking one little thing, next time maybe we have them write down a notable event on their campaign tracker.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I could see that.
I was planning to go there and hang out, and then I just forgot. Sucks.
Wow.
I would have known if I probably was on the last podcast, right?
Yeah, you would have.
But I saw like a Instagram of Fisher being like, "It's going great." I was like, "Oh yeah, shit! I've just been laying in bed, crying all day." Oh. No, I was having fun, probably.
Was crying and laughing.
Well, Honors, that might have been the same day that you had the show, right? Oh no, never mind. That was the week before, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I was doing nothing. I remember thinking I could have gone. Anyway, I wouldn't have known how to play the game, so.
You're in our most watched playcast episodes, Anders.
That was like 5 years ago. Though I cleared off my desk over here because I want to play a solo campaign because I'm getting into tabletop games lately.
Nice.
And that's my big goal. So I can actually know what the frick I'm talking about on this show. I know what you guys are talking about.
Well, do it for yourself because it's a positive experience to just have this meditative thing just waiting for you to play through. It's like it's enriching. So
I've been meaning to do this for years now. Anyway, is that everything that's happening?
That's everything that we'll talk about. There's always more things happening, as we say every episode. There's more. Yeah. I was thinking about adding more, but I think we'll save some stuff for later.
I got a little sneak peek into something that's happening, and I was excited about it. So we'll just say that.
It was only 3 years ago, Anders.
Have you? I'm a comedian, man. Exaggeration. Still, though, 3 years ago feels like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's everything's happening. Now it's time for the debut of the new segment, Part 2, Volume 2. So since it's the Design Corner with Andrew Fisher, and we got a lot of compliments about last week's Design Corner, we're going to title this Fisching for Components. Fishing with
delivered that a little bit better.
Fishing for components.
Fishing for mechanics. Fishing for
I just don't feel like it's all the way there.
No,
I feel like losing the fishing for compliments connection.
Yeah, it needs to kind of rhyme with compliments or have like a similar
compliments.
Yeah,
condiments.
Fishing for condiments.
I'm for fishing.
Today we are reviewing horsey sauce.
Yeah,
I always get horsey sauce.
Yeah, drastic change
One of the
to
best.
the channel. We're going to start reviewing condiments.
Now that is something I would know what to talk about with. That is something I would know what to talk about with.
Well, we're going to make you talk about design today, Anders.
I know. And you can tell I'm highly eloquent in this moment. And I'm not going to struggle through that at all.
No, but it'll be great. So yeah, we are bringing back the design corner. I really appreciate everybody who jumped in the comments and gave ideas or just how much they appreciated the segment. That was very nice. I know we kind of asked for it per the Fisching for compliments joke, but I really appreciate it. So today we are going to be talking about difficulty, specifically difficulty in cooperative card games, and like how we kind of tune it, how we set difficulty. Like, we've worked on a lot of different co-op games across our careers. Maxine specifically has worked on several different co-op card games, and several different co-op card games that have taken very different approaches to how they kind of handle and approach difficulty, and just the general gameplay loop. So that's going to be kind of what we dive into, and I'm going to put Anders on the spot and make him talk about difficulty in Monster Train and or whatever other favorite.
I wrote down some notes, so
okay, all right, sweet.
See if
I might also bring up some video games.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, it's just design corner. It's not, board game design corner. So I was debating what question to kind of start with. And this is a slightly pretentious way to start, but I was curious, Maxine, how would you define, from like a design standpoint, how would you define difficulty?
How would you define difficulty?
When we're talking about difficulty, what do we mean?
Webster's defines difficulty.
Yeah, right? That's almost what I want to do, is pull up the definition, but I don't know. I think so in a lot of cooperative card games, not all of them, but in some of them, I know with like Lord of the Rings especially, it was designed to sort of mimic the idea that you're facing an intelligent opponent. So it's kind of like the difficulty of the scenario that you're playing is the level of skill of the opponent you're playing against. At least that's kind of how we approached it in Lord of the Rings, and then with Arkham we departed from that a little bit and made it more story focused, and then Rangers is very much more story focused and not like you're fighting against an opponent or something. So I guess like that would be my first thought of how to define it.
Yeah, I think, and that's, interesting because there's the comparison here, especially as we talk about card games, of like the direct comparison to competitive card games,
right?
Where like it's really this combination of the skill of your opponent and the quality of their deck, right? Is kind of what sets how good or bad of a time you're going to have.
Ooh, yes. That, and I think especially in the latter part of Lord of the Rings and then moving into Arkham and then also especially Rangers, it's about what emotion and feeling you want to evoke in the player. Do you want them to feel lost in the woods and confused and not sure how to get out? Like, that's one way to inspire difficulty. Do you want them to feel like they're just getting crushed and oppressed by like some horrible force, some cosmic horror? Then that's one form of difficulty. There's like lots of ways that you can inspire different kinds of forms of difficulty based on their emotional connection to the scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think that's a really good point too, because like, we could take a very clinical definition of difficulty and look at like, say, how does player ability impact chance of success, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think you bring up a good point of like, the kind of emotion of difficulty, and like, because by that first definition, randomness, getting randomly screwed over might not feel like difficulty per se as much as just arbitrariness, but like there is, from a narrative standpoint, getting arbitrarily hosed is kind of like potentially evokes emotions that you want.
Right.
So like,
yeah.
Yeah.
When you walk into Sen's Fortress in Dark Souls and a trap just comes out of nowhere and owns you, it's entirely unfair, but it feels appropriate for the the location that you're in and what's the story there.
And you should really know better at that point too.
Yeah. A lot of these games don't. Sorry.
I was just going to say, after so many FromSoft games, there are like times when you see a corner and you're like, that's a trap.
Yeah.
They for sure hid something behind that corner. Yeah. Like, you just know.
They train you. They train you very well.
Uh-huh.
A lot of these games that we're talking about don't have like very overt success or loss conditions. Like there's a lot of scenarios in Arkham that you don't win or lose. You just do what happens, and there's consequences for what choices you made. And especially even more so in Rangers, like you can succeed at a mission, and there's some missions that you can fail, but largely it's just about the story and what happens in that story. It's not like Netrunner where it's like, well, I lost. You know what I mean? So difficulty can't just be win-loss ratio, because that's very difficult to measure in a game like Rangers.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like Rangers, and this kind of gets to kind of this whole other topic and difficulty, and like, how do you set difficulty, and how do you, because player skill is so, if it's player ability that is versus and how it impacts outcome, like player ability is so wide that how and where do you set it is kind of this interesting question. And for Rangers, we kind of reverse the formula, and we basically mess more with instead of what does like the challenge to get to success look like, we instead ask, what does success look like, right? Like, and ideally, I think when Rangers is working right, we kind of just set the difficulty on most individual missions, with some exceptions that folks know. We set the difficulty kind of low, but then we try to tempt you to take on more objectives to kind of like let you opt in to the difficulty you want. But kind of on this topic then of setting difficulty, Maxine, like you've worked on games where there's a lot less player control over what success looks like, and instead you're saying this is exactly what player control looks like. So in those games, like, one, how do you decide what you feel like is good to difficulty? Like, how do you figure that out? Especially when your skill might be a lot higher than than a lot of people picking the game off the shelf. And like, how do you kind of adjust and tune that since it's so specific?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you would be surprised how low my skill is at playing games. And second of all, for me, I mean, it's an art, not a science. There's a lot of like fine tuning and listening to playtester feedback, and like knowing your playtesters really well helps a lot with that. Like back when Jeremy Zwern, who is like a professional card game player, was playtesting, if he said a scenario was too easy, I knew it was probably okay. It's probably just right. So there's a lot of like just kind of feeling it out. It's impossible to like really statistically math out the difficulty that you want. But for me, it's all about inspiring, kind of like I said before, like the feeling that I want playtesters or players to have, and then like listening to your playtesters and seeing if that feeling is being evoked, and if it's selling the story that I want to tell. There are some scenarios that I've made in Arkham where the story isn't that you're being absolutely destroyed by some horrible thing. It's more like a plotting investigation where you're going through and just like it's mysterious and unsettling. And those scenarios tend to be a little easier. And then there's some where it's like you're running from a horrible monstrosity, and the game has telegraphed that this is going to happen. And you know it's going to be tough going into it, and I want that scenario to feel really tough, And similarly in Rangers, Like, there have been some scenarios that I've made where it's telegraphed that this is going to be a little harder. And that can either happen like in the story or in the like directly in the gameplay mechanics. And then there's others that are just like, this one's a more joyful romp, so it doesn't need to be hard, you know?
Do you like, how much do you feel like you can discern that difficulty in your own testing or like your own kind of mock-ups after design? And how much do you just like, do you feel like it needs to be external testers who are giving you that feedback?
I rely pretty heavily on external feedback because I know what it's supposed to feel like. So I come into the experience with that, like, you know, already in the back of my head. And sometimes I can play through a segment of game or scenario or whatever, and be like, this isn't landing. But a lot of times my foreknowledge of what I want it to feel like is poisonous to the process. I need someone else to come in and play it and tell me what they thought it was. And if it lines up with what I wanted, then great. And if it doesn't, then that needs to change. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. So, you know, I mentioned earlier this giant gulf of player ability and skill that we have, right? Like, people come in from all different types. And I mentioned, like, you know, with Rangers, we try to kind of like, we have the weather that you can tweak, but like, we try to let you opt into more difficult stuff. And like, to a point Andrew's made on past podcasts, like, you know, there are certain like first order optimal strategy cards like Oru where it's like, all right, if you want a harder time, just don't play with Oru or check out the Book of Uncommon Wisdoms, you know, like, you know, you don't have to put that one card in your deck or whatever. But on a game like Arkham or Lord of the Rings, like, how do you decide where to set that difficulty when it might be a cool, tense moment for a certain type of player, but it might just be an impossible wall for another?
Yeah. Two things. One, I think, especially in Arkham, we did this a lot. We offered outs for players who just couldn't achieve like the main goal. We would offer like, here's an alternate solution that is a lot easier, but maybe has consequences down the road. You know, you can flee a bad situation instead of accomplishing your goal, or you can make some narrative sacrifice to have a much easier time, or in some cases a literal sacrifice to have an easier time. And like, that's hammered in right in the core set with like the third scenario, which I won't spoil what that sacrifice is, but it's pretty self-evident when you get to it. But with Lord of the Rings, we didn't have branching narrative as much in Lord of the Rings. It was very much like, here's the story. So what we did, or this was before I came along, but there were difficulty numbers assigned to scenarios. And you knew going into it, if this is a difficulty 8 scenario, you're like, maybe I'm not good enough to do this scenario yet. I'm going to hold off on this one. And campaign mode wasn't like a foregone conclusion in that game. So you could just skip a scenario and play the next one in the chain if you wanted to. Granted, assigning those difficulty numbers was very difficult and not always accurate, but we tried our best.
I like around the same time you're doing a lot of that Arkham work, you know, I was working on a lot of the app integrated games, and those have like one really nice thing that we have on the digital side, since a lot of the difficulty is going to getting, you know, your opponent is basically this app that's playing against you. And like, we have the digital side can like look at how you're doing based on what information you're inputting. And then like, we can kind of push and pull based on that knowledge, something that like on the tabletop side, we try to make little elegant tricks to do that, but you can't do as just like explicitly. Like, it was there were so many handy tools we had on the digital side, which does bring me to putting Anders on the spot here. Like, so, like, Anders, I know you've talked a ton about Monster Train. Like, do you have thoughts? How does Monster Train handle difficulty? Is there different modes, or is it just like how far you can get in the roguelike?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to Slay the Spire It's very similar, actually, which I feel like Slay the Spire is probably like the archetype for all of these games, right? But yeah, I mean, I've never played any competitive deck builders. Like, I think Marvel Snap is probably the only one I've ever played. But I guess it's trying to. So you're building the deck in real time, like within this run. Whereas with traditional deck builders, you kind of think about it and you buy certain cards and right?
Yeah, like there's deck builders where like deck building is kind of part of the gameplay loop, and then there's like constructed card games where you build your deck ahead of time, right? Like, it's more like range or Snap.
So yeah, I guess with those video game roguelikes, it's pretty apparent that they will kind of weigh the options towards things that you're already sort of leaning towards. So if you start collecting stuff with poison, let's say, they're going to give you those options. But I think what they do, which is so smart, is that it never really feels like they're doing that. You know, like if I really think about it, I'll be like, oh yeah, that choice usually doesn't come up if I'm kind of leaning.
Yeah, like I never see this poison card in my like other runs, you know, or something.
Like fire, if I'm doing like a fire deck or whatever. These are not Monster Train things. I don't know why I'm just saying them, but but I think that's the clever trick. You know, it's all under the hood, like gently leading you towards your like, so you can scale alongside the enemies as you progress. But then I think like giving choice within that still makes you feel like you're doing something. So like, okay, I know that I'm trying to make this hero become powerful, so I need to make the right decisions when it comes time to pick my path in between battles, that kind of thing. Because that game, like, it rarely feels like, oh shit, I just got so lucky and I just like annihilated the final boss. That's like 1 in 50 runs, I'd say. And the same with, oh, I just got the worst luck on that. So you never get like beat up by the RNG in that game. And I can't remember if Slay the Spire felt similarly. I feel like that was a little more brutal than Monster Train. I feel like Monster Train is a really like player friendly game. So like hardcore gamers or card builder people probably might not appreciate it as much. I don't know. But it always feels good. Yeah. Those are
I definitely get the feeling from a lot of those roguelikes that, like, you know, to this conversation about, you know, how much is player ability or skill versus randomness difficulty, right? Like, and I do feel in quite a few roguelikes I've played, like there is this kind of gambling element to it where it's just like sometimes a run just doesn't come together, and like that last hour it was never going to come together, right? Like,
yeah.
But like, you know, obviously somebody more skilled than me could probably have made it come together okay, right? Like, but like it was never going to pop off. And so like there is this very meta randomness to a roguelike that like it sounds like Monster Train might smooth out a bit more.
I mean, it's not, it doesn't feel that like it's just random. Like, oh, that shit that I usually get very far before I realize I can't do it. Or even like to the final battle, like it takes place within the battle. I'm never like, this is not going to work. I should just give up right now, you know? But then, you know, and then another way they do difficulty, which I feel like is almost a side conversation, which is like this ascension thing. I feel like the base game is designed to be fairly easy, where most people could probably beat the game. But then all these games now have this ascension system where it's like, add these modifiers, the enemies are much, much stronger. And that's where you can, you know, make it harder for yourself and feel like you're really kind of plotting and making smart decisions throughout your runs. I mean, that's kind of just an obvious way they scale.
Yeah, to kind of like give the top tier player that extra step.
A lot of my favorite games, be they roguelikes or otherwise, have like opt-in difficulty games. Like all the Supergiant games are really great at this, like Hades. But also like a lot of other games I've played recently, no matter what the genre is, like Witchfire is kind of a rogue. It's more of a what's it called? Extraction shooter. But like it has opt-in difficulty modifiers where you can like activate an item that makes it wickedly hard. But like you don't have to do that if you're getting wrecked. And like games like Slay the Spire and Darkest Dungeon, you get to choose your path along this map, and you can optionally choose a harder path for greater rewards if you want to do that. Or you can choose a much more safe route, you know?
There's an interesting design decision that I think it works on me, which is when you add those modifiers, I need to see like a nice looking like list of things that I've done, you know? Otherwise it's just like, I don't even care. But if I'm like ticking off a checklist, somehow that makes it worth like playing for 600 hours or whatever I've done. It has just a great logbook that, you know, you can, looks nice and you're like, oh, wow, look at how it's getting filled up.
Yeah, kind of like Hades has that a little bit, especially with like the heat system and things.
Yeah. And like we kind of do that in Rangers in a way, in that we have some optional reward cards that are much harder to obtain than other ones that you can opt in and try to achieve. And like it's partly bragging rights, but it's also partly like, yeah, you earn a cool card that you can't otherwise get, but it's, you know, it's hard to do that.
Or you could just take it out of the box.
Yeah, you could just take it out of the box if you really want.
But you would know.
There's
you are out there.
Yeah.
Hypothetical
Steve,
person.
If your name is Steve, I don't know why I'm picking on
Steve.
There's going to be someone watching whose name is Steve, and they're like, "What?
How did they know?"
We know, Steve.
There was one other thing I wanted to, on the kind of comparison of deck builders to these, you know, more kind of constructed deck games, that I've thought a lot about, because like, you know, Rangers has this very soft deck building component of like, you can go to these traders and exchange cards into your deck, right? So you can kind of tweak your deck a little bit. And then obviously rewards let you do it a little bit more, but like there's kind of this like soft deck customization throughout the game, but very, very soft. But I think an interesting thing that deck builders or games that let you customize your deck a lot on the fly can do, and this is kind of true in like competitive games because you can customize your deck between like tournaments or between games, you know, is you can have things that like, you know, to that arbitrarily screwing over the player or randomness, you can have things that are like pretty brutal and screw over the player, but have answers somewhere in the card pool. And so even if you don't have control over that thing that happens to you in that moment, you kind of still feel like you have control over that point of difficulty, because like it feels like difficulty instead of just arbitrarily getting screwed, because you're like, oh, if I had run that card, I would have been protected from this thing, but I made the choice not to run it. And in like, you know, I know sometimes it gets maligned, but like silver bullet design where there's silver bullets in the pool to counter these hard things, like it can kind of give that feeling. It can turn something that's frankly us really screwing you over into a feeling like a choice that plays into player ability because you chose whether or not to run that silver bullet. I've thought about it a lot, because like in Rangers, like sometimes I wish we had a little bit more, like maybe traders were a little more proliferated and you had a little bit more ability to kind of tweak your deck so that we could play into that type of design a bit more. Because we have some screw you moments with like ambush, you know, like all those Aatroxes ambushing you, you know, but there are ways to counter ambush, but they're kind of rare. And I do kind of wish there was just a little bit more of ability for players to go and do that without quote unquote like cheating to customize your deck. I know we've given permission before to do that, but
yeah. No, you bring up a good point though, this, which to me is that like good difficulty design is about counterplay. And like a good difficult card is one that you can either tactically approach differently or strategically when building your deck approach, like, you know, with foreknowledge, like, okay, there's going to be a big enemy. Do I have enemy management in this deck? Or, okay, there's going to be a lot of ambush cards. Do I have a way to move, you know, or prevent ambush or move creatures around or that kind of thing? And like, for example, in Lord of the Rings, there was a very infamous, notorious treachery card in an earlier cycle called Sleeping Sentry. There's almost no counterplay to Sleeping Sentry. If you're playing the game, it's gonna kill you. It's gonna it basically kills exhausted characters. The only way to counter that is to not exhaust your characters, which means you're not playing the game. I don't know how you counter that. So a lot of players don't like that card. So I think good balance isn't about having an equal win-loss ratio or anything like that. Good balance is about having difficult moments that you can strategically or tactically counter, and that makes you feel like a really skilled player, and it makes you engage with the game.
I think your point about the dichotomy of tactics versus strategy is a really good one, because I at least find personally, and I think I see in a lot of conversations, people get you get very obsessed with the tactical decisions, right?
Yeah.
Like how do I tweak the difficulty tactically? How do I tweak this number up or down? But to these conversations about silver bullets, long-term play, I do think strategic difficulty is an important factor, and I at least can often lose perspective on that sometimes when I'm in the weeds, tweaking things up and down.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay to have a moment where if you didn't build your deck to counter a certain bad thing happening to you, that bad thing should happen to you to an extent. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you're building a deck and you have no being management whatsoever, a being might mess up your game, and that's just the game,
If everybody dumped awareness, it feels okay, right? Until that moment it suddenly doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, Fisher, I have a question. How do you as far as tuning difficulty, how do you account for different player counts in tuning difficulty? Because I think that's something that obviously is is very pertinent in Rangers, because oftentimes things are just easier if you have more people. And I think we've just kind of gone with the more realism kind of approach where, it's easier for 4 people to coordinate to do something than if one person's by themselves or if there are 2 people together. But then also there are times when being solo seems better because of some of the way the thresholds are built. Even looking back at old LCGs, did we have a sweet spot where we thought, all right, we think most people are playing 2-player, so we'll tune the best we can for that, and then hopefully the other variations fall into line. I know with Arkham, at least that at least my perception was always same thing with Lord of the Rings, was that there wasn't a whole lot really for single-handed solo players. It's just kind of you can, but you're probably going to get destroyed unless you're really, really good. You're probably going to want to play with 2 characters. Mm-hmm. So anyway, how do you account for variable player counts, or can we really, given that we have limited time and resources and can't literally test every permutation of everything across all player counts?
Well, I'm sure Maxine has some interesting insights into this from her time on FFG games. On Rangers, I'll say I don't think we handled it perfectly necessarily. We definitely I think we talked about this before. We targeted 2-player. 2-player is where our center point, right? Mm-hmm. Because it was nice because solo is still pretty important, and both solo and 3-player being right next to 2-player feel all right, and then 4-player is kind of our outlier where I think the difficulty skews the most. And we even talked about this during design, Andrew, where we knew that scaling, because we need to scale up some numbers just to account for the number of players, but we knew that scaling linearly would be better, but scaling multiplicatively was just way more intuitive in presentation and how players thought about it.
Yeah.
And so we went with scaling multiplicatively with the knowledge that it was less resilient, but it was just going to be less fiddly and mathy on the card. X plus YR, you know. And I do think some games do better at it because the challenges are more localized to each player. Like imagine a version of Rangers where within reach is the most important thing. And so almost everything is within reach and there's less interaction.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a way easier game to scale because it's all about solving your personal puzzle.
Yeah.
And moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like a combination of a bunch of single player games as opposed to
yeah. And so like that would have been way easier to tune, but we would have lost all of the interaction that we find so much fun in Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone would have liked that.
So like we did make some conscious choices, and like honestly, I think I'm not going to sit here and like talk like we did a perfect job. I think there's definitely some scaling challenges in Rangers, especially the playtime at 4 players. Like I know that's not difficulty related, but
that too, I think is all that's just all group based. Like I've been playing in a 4-player group, and I mostly stay out of it, and we do talk a lot, and those games come in at like 2.5 hours, which I think is totally reasonable time for like a hobby style 4-player game that's focused on narrative where you're reading out of a book for a part of it, so it definitely is I think when you're, like we've said before, when you're starting with 4 players and learning the game at 4 players, yeah, it can be long, but that's just life in hobby board games. I think it's really really hard to find a game that's breezy, that's as deep and technical as a game like Rangers your first time playing. But I think though beyond though just like the numerical approach on the cards, I do think like it's on my mind because we just finished the story mission that most people say is like the most difficult mission. And I brought up to my group, I was like, a lot of people say this is the most difficult mission. And we obliterated it. Like,
and you didn't leave and come back?
Nope. Piece of cake. We barely even like got through the deck. Like, and we were like, all right, let's get out of here. It was no problem. Maybe we're all just very good at this point because we're on like session 20, I think, right now. But there are lots of things that made it feel easier. Just because of the how many more actions were happening, how many more challenge effects were firing, like just so much more happens. And it's, but I also, I played that solo and I barely did it, but still was able to do it. And that felt really good. And it still was good. I mean, to Maxine's point earlier, like the focus of Rangers is the story. So at the end of the day, you're still telling a fun and compelling story that's enjoyable to share with your friends at the table. And that's the goal, and I think we achieved that. But yeah, I don't, like, to your point, I don't really know if there is a without emulating a digital solution in tabletop form that can respond and scale and do things based on how your group is doing. I don't know if outside of like a Euro game, if it's like something that can be like perfectly balanced. I don't know if I've ever played a game that's perfectly balanced across all player counts, frankly.
Maxine, do you have any thoughts on player scaling from the other FFG games?
Yeah, I mean, I think like we've said, like it's there's always going to be pain points depending on player count and depending on like specific missions or specific scenarios might be tougher with some player count, and then like other missions might be harder with that same player count or easier with that same player count, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's going to vary. I think there's going to be hills and valleys all throughout. Single player solo is always going to be tough because your deck can't possibly handle everything. Mm-hmm. That's by design, right? Mm-hmm. So that, players can specialize. And so if you're playing with a group, it's going to be easier to cover all your bases. Mm-hmm. That's just always going to be the case. But there are some spots where it's going to be harder with 4 people. In fact, Lord of the Rings, the card game, is notoriously difficult with 4 players because a lot of the treacheries do stuff to everybody.
Yeah.
So it compounds, it like multiplies. And a lot of cards will synergize with each other like you're playing against an intelligent opponent. So if they're revealing 4 cards per turn, all of those effects are going to synergize together. Whereas if you're only pulling one or two of them a turn, it's going to be less combo-y, It's one of the many things that we learned when we started working on Arkham. So there's little tricks that we can do to help with that. Any, per ranger or per player scaling is going to help with that, but you can't put it on every card because then it multiplies and compounds. So it's all about finding like little ways that you can kind of tweak that knob to be more in the middle, but it's never going to always be in the middle,
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point about like how many tricks you have, because there is like this kind of, especially in Rangers where we have a lot of cards that like just answer a problem for you. You're just going to have more answers in 4.
Yeah.
And one thing I've brought up I think in a previous podcast that I want to highlight with true solo decks is like people underestimate how much true solo changes player scaling, because like, you think about it, oh, it's just one fewer player, but like you really have to think about it about like 1 to 2 is twice as much player stuff going on, right? If you just cut out solo, 2 to 4 is the same jump as 1 to 2, right? This isn't like, if you're thinking about it as percentages, it's not like, so like, that's why I think you see so many games with custom weird custom fiddly true solo rules just to help compensate for that fact that there's so little going on. But anyway, I have taken a long time with my segment today, so I will hand the podcast back. So cool. Anders, thank you for Fisching for
components to the game that I play, because I'm such an expert. Thanks for including me, though. That makes me feel special.
You are special.
Oh, so are you. But interesting topic. I like this segment a lot. We're going to be doing more of it. I don't know, every other show, maybe every show. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll sprinkle. Well, Fisher's got a ton of ideas, so we'll see how it forms up.
Yep, we had to choose from a list today of potential ideas. Anyway, that brings us over to the 4 listener questions I had mentioned.
I removed one.
The 3 questions. And the first one comes from Greg. Do you have vertical card dividers available? I ask because with the amount of cards available for Earthborne Rangers and all the expansions, I am looking for an all-in-one box solution. However, anything that can hold that amount of cards only stores vertical cards. If you do not have them available, I would love to request possibly thinking about making them available in either physical form or even printable. 3D
so this one came in in an email. Just a question at the info at box asking us stuff. So I think I'm going to ask once we post this, I'll have Joe respond and say, "Here you go. They talked about it on the podcast." I wanted to put this in because we've got this request from a few. We've gotten this request relatively frequently, and I think the short answer is no. I don't think we're going to make vertical dividers like an official product or provide any like printed materials for them. Like, I think if you're at the point where you are printing out your own dividers, you can definitely craft and put nice text and things on your dividers yourselves. You don't really need any help from us. But it has definitely informed my thinking on the product design of Hub World Eidolon in that box. So I think like the thing that's frustrating, I think, from just a card sorting, as someone who's done a lot of card sorting, I can see how you could be frustrated with Rangers because it's so close to being able to accommodate the cards vertically, height-wise, the box, but it's like that much too short to make it possible. So for Hub World Eidolon, we're going to be making that box like just a little bit taller, so that you could store your cards vertically if you wanted to. But yeah, short answer. No, we're not going to do vertical dividers, but maybe in some future edition we'll flip over to vertical dividers instead.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh man. Next question comes from Stan. Love you, Stan. Stin. It's been a while since I've stumbled through your name. It's good to be back.
It is.
Why can't I just remember it? I don't know. Anyway, I remember hearing or waiting somewhere that the story of the Valley was going to be a limited arc of 3 sets. It's supposed to be reading?
Did you say waiting?
Waiting.
Did you say waiting?
Like wading in the water?
I think he probably meant reading.
I think probably reading.
I remember hearing or reading somewhere that the story of the Valley was going to be a limited arc of 3 sets. Now we have 2 campaigns and 4 new sets announced and or released. Am I imagining things, and was this never a limited arc to begin with, or am I right? And if so, when has this shifted?
He is right. Nothing has shifted. I think they talked about this a little bit in the podcast channel on the Discord. But the arc is still the same. And we talked, I think, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. We talked very recently about the kind of the genesis of the Valley expansion idea and where that came from. But I see these as within the context of the existing arc. Like, these don't necessarily go out and create brand new arcs of stories. They all exist within the context of Lure of the Valley, which is definitely not part of the original plan. But the plan for the main arc is still the same. So we still will have 2 more campaign expansions coming. And we may have some other stuff that will technically still remain true to the arc. And at some point, I'll say this on the podcast with no promise that I will ever do this. But I've spent some time on occasion over the years, like putting together essentially like a roadmap. Remember when like roadmaps were a thing for like video games for a while, and they're like, "Oh, here's the roadmap."
They still are. Yeah.
Oh, do they still do roadmaps?
Some games.
And Magic does a pretty comprehensive set roadmap, and then like they're kind of basically mimicking the MCU. That is kind of, I feel like, popularized the graphic roadmap.
Yeah,
real good example there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to follow that.
Yeah, to that point though, like, I don't want to look at a roadmap and then like the Marvel roadmap, for example, and say this is all BS now. Like, or the Star Wars roadmap with all the stupid projects they've announced and haven't done anything with.
I mean, that's why Christian stopped doing it at FFG, like in 2010 or whatever, right? Is like, just because of other factors, we would change things, and then our roadmap would cease to be true,
Yeah, exactly. So part of me wants to do that because I want to share with everyone the vision for the entire line, so you can see it and just get excited about what's coming. But then there's the part of me that, wants to be able to be flexible and, like if Marvel Studios can't stick to their roadmap, I think it's
we have.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? There's so many things we're so much easier to nudge, because we have to take advantage, or we can take advantage of other opportunities as they arise. So, but yeah, the short answer is that the arc is the same, though there may be additional inclusions within that arc. But the number of campaign expansions is not changing as far as I know.
Think about the Valley expansions less as campaign expansions and more as just making your core box bigger.
Right. Maybe a minor distinction. But I think narratively the plan really hasn't changed.
Alrighty. All right. I like this next question. D-Cheds. You just know it's an oh-no. Okay, yesterday was only day 3 of having our new tiny future ranger in the house. Congratulations, D-Cheds.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I've
Yes,
already
sir.
been converted to the baby Frida snot sucker. I know this tool well. What is the weirdest, grossest thing you didn't think you would do for your respective tiny rangers that you've ended up doing? I have one that's immediately popped to my mind, but I don't know how gross we want to be.
Well, when in Rome.
Well, when she was a little tiny one, she had constipation, and I had to pull it out.
Get
of
in
it.
there?
I had to pull it pull that big solid log right out of the butt.
Oh gosh.
That was interesting. And I don't. Yeah.
I have a feeling a lot of these are going to be poop related.
They're all kind of like that.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, the thing is, I don't know if anything as, like, surprised me. I do think the baby Frida snot sucker is a good example, because, like, people think of snot suckers as a little bulb, but the baby Frida, you actually suck through a straw with your mouth, and there's, like, a filter, but, like, it's a little gross.
What? I don't have a child, so I've never heard of this before.
It's pretty effective. The
Yeah,
way
it
it
is.
works.
I wish they would have
'Cause-
made one of those for
yeah.
constipation as well.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to use it the same way.
But I was going to say, nothing.
I
I
wouldn't
don't
have
think
got my
anything-
hands dirty then.
I don't think anything surprised me though. Like the grossness wise, right? Like I feel like my friends who are parents gleefully prepared me for all of the gross things that would happen because, they thought it was funny.
See, for me, one thing that I think D-Cheds can look forward to, or at least this is something that's memorable to me, is just that for a while when, our daughter was still kind of, getting used to like feeding and stuff, there was a lot of spit up. And I just had a lot of clothes and things that just would smell kind of like, like spit up,
Mm-hmm.
And I say spit up, like, now it's not like puke. It's just like, I don't know. It's kind of different when they're
Kind of
babies.
cute
It's just,
in a way. I thought.
yeah,
it
in a way, it weirdly is. It's like,
Mhm.
it's nostalgic or something.
It is. It is
I don't know.
true.
That's not the right word, but yeah.
Endearing.
So,
Endearing.
yeah,
would be the
yeah,
word.
yeah. Endearing.
It's cute. Cute puke.
Well, in the interest of giving D-Cheds a story, you did make me think, Evan, this isn't necessarily something I didn't expect, but I did tell you all the horrible story I had. The last time Sam was out of town about a month ago, I was solo parenting Wyatt, and he got sick. Like, he got the flu or something, and, like, I discovered this after he'd eaten his whole dinner, and then he vomited it all up.
Oh,
And like, just everywhere. And then the dog comes over.
Oh
Oh
God.
no! Oh no!
And then Wyatt pukes again onto the dog. And I'm like solo parenting, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to juggle everything. And then so Finn freaks out and starts running around. This is the dog. He freaks out and starts running around the house and shaking. And you talk about the smell, Evan. I didn't think I was ever going to get it out of the house. It was,
yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh,
That's,
man.
I think that takes the cake. But
Yeah.
it was
yeah.
Compounded
Wow.
grossness.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of gross. I could go on and on about things that I wasn't prepared for. Like, I don't know if any of you have had this experience, but when our kid was competent enough to be kind of not as supervised at a playground, there's times where she would just climb up a really high thing, and I would just be like, do I just let her do it, or do I climb up there like, I want to climb up there and just pull her down,
Mhm.
but I also feel like I should just let her have this kind
like,
of
how
moment
far
of,
do I let this go?
yeah.
She is a
a lot of
climber.
tense moments.
Mm.
What was that, Anders?
She is a climber. When we went to that playground,
Yeah,
we went to like an indoor playground
Yeah.
with our kids a while ago.
yeah,
And his daughter was just zipping all around
She's
up in
gone.
the rafters. Yeah.
yeah.
Little
And I was
tiny-
one of
awesome.
the many parents that was just kind of like
Where is she now?
trying to spot among all the kids in the tubes or whatever, figure out where she went.
D-Chads, definitely take your kid to the tube places. They're very fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, like, I think like my it's been my oldest is 18, my youngest is 15 now, so it's been a while. But I think to me, like nothing. Even the gross things I never think of as gross. Like to your point, Anders, like you're just like,
yeah.
I think that the thing that's always most surprising to me is like how normal it all feels, and how like I didn't necessarily like feel prepared, but I think there's like clearly just encoded in my being are just these skills that you have where it's like, well, this is just a thing. Yeah. And this is like, if this wasn't my child, then yeah, this would be gross. Like if I was thrust in this position and like, I might struggle with it a little bit, but when it's your kid, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that's too gross.
It's almost like an extension of yourself. It's just like, well, I puked on myself again. It's actually your kid. It's like, I don't know. It's not. It's weird.
As often happens to Evan.
I
He's
don't
got
have
a whole pile of shirts next to him.
I didn't really think about how that sounded as I said it. I don't puke on myself.
I don't puke on myself. There we go. I think we got the episode title. I don't have a small human child, but I do have this girl. This is my cat, Eris. For those of you who don't know. Yeah, it's more of a tiny companion. But when she was little, she's very floofy, even as a kitten. And so she would have really bad, like, diarrhea. And it would get stuck on her fur, in her fur. And then she would get really excited that she pooped. And she would jump on my chest and sit on my chest. Yeah. And I'd be like, oh, come on now. But like you said, like I don't know, it's cute when it's yours.
I disagree there. I see. I have cats too, and like when they make messes, it is nasty as hell. I mean, we immediately take a bath, like throw her in the bathtub and clean that out. But I
had some rabbits growing up, and I had to deal with that. And rabbits aren't as compliant as well. Cats aren't very compliant when you're cleaning them. But rabbits are just like, they don't know what the hell you're trying to do, you know. So it's stressful trying to deal with that similar situation, cleaning them off back there.
Yeah.
Can I share one more that I wish I would have shared instead of the poop one?
Yeah.
She was a puke up kid too, and I was like laying on my back and holding her up in the air.
No. Oh no!
And she spit up directly into my mouth, and my
that's an America's Funniest Home Videos thing right
there. My knee jerk reaction was just to spit it back at her. So she just like she was just looking at me with like this throw up splattered on her face. Like, what was that? I've got a good picture of both of us.
Gut reaction.
You like that?
Back, kid.
That's hilarious.
It's like SpongeBob and Patrick, like crying, jet propulsion, crying into each other's mouths.
Oh my god!
I've never seen that. That sounds awesome.
Oh god, it's hilarious.
Well, thanks.
That's awesome.
Thanks for that question, D. Cheds. Thanks everybody for your questions. Andrew's got 10 minutes, and we're going to get through it.
I do, yeah.
Before he's got a hard out. And we're going to talk about stuff we're into or things we're excited about in life. I said I had a lot of them, so I'm just going to fly through a few of them. One thing that I really am into is this thing I got in the mail recently, which is the UFO 50 companion book. And
I didn't know this existed.
It's like... It's done in the style of, like a 90s Nintendo Power or something.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's really cool. I wish it stayed on each game longer, but it's about like, a page per game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I recognize a lot of those games.
Yeah. Did they make that? Did they publish that?
Fangamer? Well, they made it with Fangamer.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
I was going to say, is that Fangamer? Yeah.
Is that cover like, kind of like that classic Nintendo Power cover with Mario they made a clay sculpture of Mario.
Yeah, it's probably inspired by that. So that's very cool. I saw a movie called Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie.
I really want to see that.
I was wondering what all those letters were in your notes on this.
Yeah, NTBTS at PM. Like what?
New Kids on the... they're best known for their sketch about the Wii Shop Wednesday update day. You may have seen that online. But this movie is unreal. It's a comedy, kind of like mixes reality with scripted stuff, but like it's best to not know anything. It's unlike any movie I've ever seen. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, sounds
so
like
good.
it.
Have you ever seen the show or anything?
No. But this, like, I heard a review of it, and it sounded just really, really cool.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to checking it out.
And I haven't really seen any of their series either. You don't have to have seen it. And I think they understand that. So, because nobody really watched it. And then I really like the Game of Thrones show. Does anybody watch that? I haven't watched the finale yet.
I hear that it's very good.
Yeah, I keep hearing good things.
So good. I love it.
Yeah.
I
hear it's like people are saying it's like the best Game of Thrones thing, essentially, since the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so too. It's a simpler story, just follows the same, but it's got enough complexity too. It's not going to leave you feeling like, it's scant in any way. It's great.
We'll see what happens by season 4.
I know. I really hope. I think it's super popular. So the last couple episodes of the season set it up for like some, that would be cool if they take that all the way,
Cool.
To its conclusion. And yeah, Fisher said his favorite game was the CMYK published game, Athletic what's it called?
Magical Athlete.
Oh, Magical Athletes.
Yeah. I wrote
I
that
don't know
one
if it's
down
my favorite
too,
game, but I do really like it.
Best game ever.
I thought you said it's your best board game of the year. Or best.
Oh yeah, it was. I think that was my top thing of 2020. Top board game of 2025. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I thought it looked so cool. So then I started watching all the like how to plays with Quinn's on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I just love that guy. He just he made me want to play every single game he was showcasing. So you guys should get him for your next game.
He's out. He's out. All he does is role playing now.
Yeah,
I know.
He's a big star now. Big YouTube star.
Are they all? Is that popular? Is that as popular as the other YouTube channel?
He's got his. Is it People Make Games? Is that the?
Oh yeah, People Make Games. He has not done a video for them in a while. That's more like long form journalism.
Yeah,
that's probably the most successful his videos have been because like they hit broader topics. Like that Roblox one really popped off.
Anyway,
and honestly, it's pretty awesome journalism. Like I think the other guy on there does some good work too, but I'd love to see Quinn's do more because his videos were always pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I ordered Magical Athlete and fruit with fruit.
I'll play Magical Athlete
fruit
with you
fight.
When you get
okay,
it.
yeah.
But to try it.
So of the games though that I've played are a couple more like simple games that my daughter is like into games now, so that's really fun.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah,
cool. That is fun.
Yeah, how did it all start?
Yeah.
I can't remember where it started, but anyway, we've played this game Lacuna, which is like it's kind of a pretty looking game. You put little wooden flowers out on this beautiful like black mat, and you gotta place your nice little metal tokens in between two pieces, and very simple, like chill game. I think it's really great, and she can play it. And then there's this one called the Fuzzies, which is very fun. It's like these little colorful fuzzy balls that you stack up and they stick together, and it's kind of
that one's kind of like a dexterity game. It's almost like a Jenga, but fuzzy.
And there's like challenge cards, so it's like since you knocked one off last time, you have to now put your arm like an elephant to grab grab the next piece. And then Quacks, which I think is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fun. I like it a lot, but it's a little bit kind of not my speed. It's a little kind of, I don't know. There's just a lot of moments of just kind of quietly doing your thing, which is fun. It's fun to play with my family. But the best one I've played is called No Thanks, which is not designed by them. It's one of these like magenta games.
Oh yeah, that kind of series they did. Yeah, I haven't played that one.
I love it though. It's just like I don't know. It's one of those where it's like deeper than you'd expect. The rules are so simple. I could just explain it in one sentence. Draw a card and like go around the table, deciding if you want to take the card or not. And if you don't want to take it, you put a little chip on it and say no thanks. Then whoever finally takes it then gets those chips, and you want to like have the lowest amount of cards or whatever, lowest total value of cards.
Mm.
But it's just, I don't know, it produces a ton of like table talk and discussing what the strategy should be. It's like one of those games where like it's fun to try to figure out together. Like, oh, what if you did this or that? So yeah, I don't know. I'm just really into their aesthetics and makes me excited about just trying all kinds of games at the table.
That's awesome. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad I pointed you towards them.
Yes, it's your fault, Fisher. That's it. That's what I'm into.
Awesome. That's great to hear, Anders. Well, if you ever want more recommendations,
okay,
no shortage of
or playmates
people to help you. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. We have 2 minutes left. No.
We have
12.
Yeah. We got a little time. We're good.
We are good. Let's go to Evan.
Well, I'll be a little more concise than usual, anyways.
I was going to say than Anders.
Than Anders, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I wanted to say. But, no, I recently picked up Dragon Quest VII Reimagined because I never played a Dragon Quest before, and
nice.
I always was drawn to the cuteness of it, and I wanted to know what it was all about, but I wasn't really willing to try from the start. Like the original Nintendo Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 or whatever, just because I don't know. I just felt like it'd be too slow paced. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. It's very, very easy, even though I chose like the medium difficulty. So I don't know. And it's I don't know if I'm going to finish it though, because I think I got what I wanted out of it, but maybe I just need a break from it. But the other thing I've been into is I've been pulling off my writing projects off of Google just because I felt like I just want to keep my personal writing locally. And I just was rereading a lot of the stuff I've written and given up on, and I felt really inspired by it all. Like, I'm like, why did I stop doing this? Why did I stop? It was like reading. It was things I've written so long ago that I don't remember precisely the pathways I was following narratively. So I'm like kind of intrigued by my own work.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's interesting. Why did I stop? So anyways, it's been fun to revisit all those. It's almost like looking at a photo album or something. And I've also been thinking about a new story idea that I can only imagine would be told through a comic book, but I'm really intimidated by that because I've tried to do comic art in the past, and it just like when I look at a page that needs to be divided up into comic panels, I see each panel as deserving of a high amount of detail, and I just need to like shake loose from that. Like I don't like I get lost in like treating every little panel as like a special thing that I need to find references for and get accurate and get the way I want. Because the reason I tried to do this, like I teamed up with this guy I met. I don't remember how I met him. It was like pre-social media. It's like maybe it's meetup.com or whatever where you just find people with similar interests, or it was just someone that a friend knew, but he wanted to write a comic and I wanted to illustrate a comic, and we started working on this idea that we were both really excited about. But I just kind of dropped off because I just was so intimidated by the prospect of like a 12 to 24 page thing and making it something that I was really happy about. But now I'm thinking about doing it again, just as a hobby. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. So it's just fun to think about. And sorry.
No, I was just going to ask, thinking about tackling this again, are you thinking about trying to challenge yourself to do these panels with less detail and challenge yourself to that style? Okay. Or I was going to ask, are you just going to commit?
But in a way that feels purposeful. Like there's a lot of artists that are really good at stripping away, like leaving, not adding detail, but they tell a lot visually. And sometimes I feel like I can hit that, but other times I feel like it's too forced. So I feel like I need to not pressure myself too much, but like just be okay with how I, not having as much detail, and then just trust that I'll get better at it, as I not try to hit it out of the park right away. So, but this is just a thing that I have fun thinking about. I don't know if you all just have projects that you enjoy just simply thinking about, like, oh, I could just start doing this. And it's fun to take notes every once in a while, but
definitely
that's just work.
That's all I do.
Well, I'm always thinking about video game ideas and story ideas.
Oh yeah.
And the act of thinking about it itself is fun. And it's almost like I'm charging the idea with energy, but at a certain point, if it really means something to me, I should probably just try to do it,
Yeah.
So
you could and you should.
I'm at the stage where I'm flirting with getting back into this kind of mode I was in, like back in 2018 or so. So
nice.
I've had an idea. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say I want to see your comic. What, Maxine?
I was just going to say, like, to what you were saying, I've had an idea for a horror video game stuck in my head since I was like 22, and I just know, like, I'm never going to do it because I don't know how to program.
I know.
I just don't have the resources or the knowledge to do it. But like, oh god, that idea has been stuck in my head forever.
Well, the worst part about those long-term ideas that that are just like that stay with you for years is there's always that fear that you're going to see something and like, oh, someone got to it.
Oh yeah,
that was my idea. But it really, I mean, I have to just be like, it's the universe's idea or whatever.
Exactly.
But it doesn't make.
That's what you get for not doing anything with it. Yeah, that's the way I always look at it. It's like, well, you should have done something with it if you cared so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that happens to like all the time. Like game ideas for my game, like the journal I put everything in is like some like Kickstarter will pop off, and I'm like, oh, that's basically the game I had.
Out of my head. Yeah.
Ball pit. That was
the idea of the game itself. Is just trying to find the person who's most willing to make it. It's an egregore that's just like, okay, you're obviously not gonna make me into reality, so I'm gonna find someone else.
Yeah, go find somebody else.
All right. Thanks, Evan. Andrew, do you want to do yours? Andrew Navarro, in case you have to go.
Well, I saved me and Fisher for last because we have the same thing, so we could talk about it.
Do your same thing right now.
All right,
and then we'll do Maxine last.
We're still playing sorcery.
Yeah.
What's your sorcery experience been like, Fisher?
Oh, it's pretty good. I've built 3 decks now. I do need to. I have this Voidwalk deck that just needs more trades. I got really attached to this idea, and I shouldn't be because I don't own like any of the cards it needs. So I have to like trade for all of it. But I really like it aesthetically and like philosophically, and so I'm trying to trade up to it. But I taught Max Brook how to play, designer of X-Wing 2nd Edition. For those of you who don't, it's probably the most relevant way I can introduce him. But I got him. He's like was big into old school Magic, so it was an easy sell. And he just picked up all the Gothic starter decks. I pitted him and Matt against each other in the first game, and Matt absolutely obliterated him with the fire starter. Just like maybe the most blowout game I've ever witnessed of anything. But then Max and I he did the Necromancer deck against I did the water starter, and that was a really cool thematic game that played out really, really fun. And so I think I hooked him into the game.
Nice.
Yeah, Sam and I have been playing a lot. I just been like, hey, Sam, you want to play Sorcery? He's like, yeah, let's play. So like, it's been really fun to play with my son. And I bought 2 more booster displays. So bringing my total up to 4. And about midway through opening up my Gothic and 2nd beta display, I was like, I'm satisfied. Like, it was that I had that feeling. I was really excited. I want more cards, and then I just had that feeling like, oh yes, this is what it's like when you're like midway through your second booster display and you're like boring.
Mhm.
Not cool, and like that's just not a fun place to be. So I was like, all right, I'm good. I think I'm set.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of ordinaries and exceptionals for trade out of beta. So next time we get together,
Sweet.
trade some cards.
Yeah, I need some Voidwalk cards from you.
Yeah,
I got
Fisher,
lots of them.
that's going to be a problem because I'm also building a Voidwalk deck and also require some Void specific cards. So, all right, is yours?
Bring your trade material. I'll make you I'll make you bid off against each other.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
I've had like 3 people in the last 3 weeks ask if I'd play Magic, and they're all people I didn't expect to ask me that. Because I feel like I'm just being called back to the obsession, and I'm much more interested in sorcery than Magic because I feel like Magic is such a big, daunting thing that I just don't ever want to get back into it unless someone just gives me a deck and I play with them.
Yeah.
Well,
we all got starters, so we could teach you how to play. It's fun.
Yeah, we would happily. And sorcery comes out once a year, so it's very chill. If you're going to get into Magic, you maybe picked an unfortunate time to do it.
Ninja Turtles, it's the perfect time.
Yeah, I've heard it's kind of more along the lines of the Spider-Man set.
Yeah,
I think that like you should either like do some like Bloomburrow or Avatar if you're looking to get in right now. I've heard those are better.
I saw people sharing art from the Turtle set, and they're like, "Look at how weird all this cheese looks from the pizza. Like there's all these like depictions of the turtles eating pizza, that's their thing. And there's so many like where it's like they got an artist who does gore or something, and they made the pizza look gory and sinewy, and
That's awesome.
it's like kind of unsettling.
Alrighty. Is that it for you?
That's
It's
it.
just Maxine.
Andrew?
That's it.
Well, I was
Just me.
Yeah. Okay, we can fit you in with Andrew still here.
Yeah, I'll hang out. Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
go quick.
Okay, what you got?
Well, speaking of gore, I'm interested in 2 things. One, Resident Evil 9 comes out in like 3 days. I am so pumped. Expect me to not shut up about it for a while. But I don't know anything about it, so we'll see. But the game that I've been playing with my brother is called Reanimal. It's made by Tarsier Studios, the same people who made Little Nightmares. It's kind of it's a lot like Limbo or Inside or Little Nightmares, but it's co-op. So it's like a co-op horror game, and you play as 2 little kids trying to go around and survive this nightmarish world, and it's very disturbing, and I love it. It is so cool. There have been so many moments where me and my brother at the same time both go like, "What the hell is that?" or like that kind of thing. It provokes insane sentences like my brother said, "Why top hat horror men eat kids with hats?" And I just thought that was so perfect. I wrote it down. It's really good. It's really well done. It's very spooky and great co-op game.
Ooh, can it be played one player? Or
I think you can. I'm not 100% sure, but what's cool about it is they have like a friend pass system where if you buy the game, anyone else you can play with anyone else for free. They don't have to also purchase the game. There's been a few games that have done that in the past, but it's always very much appreciated when they do that. And it's only a $40 game, which is still a considerable amount of money, but it's cheaper than your usual $70 fare these days. Is
it side scrolling or is it
no? It has moments where the camera kind of pans out and there's like a side scrolling moment, but for the most part, it's fully 3D.
Okay.
And there's a decent amount of little exploration. It's mostly linear, but every now and then there's little side things you can find. There's masks that you can find and put on. and they're like collectible. You know, there's concept art you can find in the world, and you pick it up, and now you've got concept art that you can look at. But mostly it's just the mood and the vibe and the experience is super on point. Especially if you like getting spooked, which I do. So, yeah.
Oh, this looks good.
It's super cool.
Yeah, the graphics are really cool. I was asking about the 3D because Sam gets motion sick, so for our co-op game nights, I need the 2D ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. The art direction is spectacular. Everything about it is so creative and imaginative. It's and just so weird. So weird.
I know the like Little Nightmares game felt kind of like the controls sometimes felt a bit like fiddly and odd. Does this solve that?
I haven't played Little Nightmares as much as I would like. I should actually go back and play those, so I'm not 100% sure. I think it controls somewhat similarly though from what I've played of it. But I haven't had any trouble. Like there's been a couple times where I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. But for the most part it's pretty simple.
Cool. Well, I love it.
Your moves are run, crouch, hide. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been very fun. I think Andrew, you're going to make it to your child. You're gonna.
Oh yeah, he's fine. Like it's tech week this week for the play. He's in Shrek the Musical. So he's probably not going to get done until like six. Yeah, he's playing
great.
Lord Farquaad.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah,
Great.
I cannot wait.
Yeah,
he's gonna give me a little previews and stuff. Oh my god, he's so hilarious.
Is it a wig? Is it a wig or is it his real hair?
Oh no, he's got a wig and a hat, and I think they're putting fake eyebrows on him too. And then he's on his knees, and he has like little like fake pants on just his thighs, and then he has shoes on his knees.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's
man,
awesome.
I can't wait.
That's cool.
I'm very excited.
His first play? Is that his first one?
No, he's been in lots. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, this is the third one he's been in at his new school, which is all of them except for he's not going to be in the next one, which is the last one.
Cool.
Yeah, he's loving it.
Awesome. Well, have fun, everybody, and let us know what you're going to do after this in the comments, and we'll see you
in detail.
In detail. Great detail. All right, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.